Coming up, Jordan Tzu Chi volunteers visit remote regions to bring aid supplies and medical assistance to those in need. In Malacca, Malaysia, Tzu Chi volunteers promote vegetarianism and environmental protection at a Vesak Day celebration. Welcome to DaAi Headlines. I'm Mary Lee. Thank you for joining us. In the Kingdom of Jordan, there are only 8 certified Tzu Chi volunteers, yet Tzu Chi's footprint of great love spans across this desert land. Recently, 17 Tzu Chi and medical volunteers conducted an aid distribution and free clinic in Thagrat, a city in southern Jordan.
Starting from the capital Amman, Tzu Chi volunteers travel 250 kilometers south. First to Padora, then to Thagrat to hold aid distributions. Newly appointed representative of the Taiwan Commercial Office in Amman, Li Siming, rolls up his sleeves and assists volunteers in offloading the aid supplies. Volunteers hand out aid supplies with respect and humility, ensuring that these 50 families won't go hungry. While playing with the children, volunteers notice that they are either barefoot or have shoes worn out beyond repair. Lollipops from the volunteers fill the children's hearts with contentment. Next, the group arrives at a newly established medical center. Although the center is equipped with advanced medical equipment, it has remained unused by local medical staff. Medical volunteers specializing in dentistry and dermatology, however, take advantage of the facility to bring relief to patients. This is Chen Zhouhua, the first seed of Tzu Chi in Jordan, as volunteers here are few in number. As the director of the Jordan chapter, Chen takes it upon himself to capture and document each distribution event.
Little sister, you don't put too much rice and put it behind. Little sister, you don't cover, I cannot get the picture. Ma,你炸掉啊？妈，你炸掉我。这一位是我的学生，你看。
Coincidentally, Chen ran into one of his students from his days in the security force 38 years ago. The hardship of their reality can be seen on their faces of despair. With all the suffering that exists, Tzu Chi volunteers will continue to reach out to those in need.
Last week on Mother's Day, Dr. Wu Zhaoyi, who specialized in facial reconstruction for burn victims and was known for treating the wife of Taichung City Mayor, was crossing the street when he was hit by a motorist. Dr. Wu suffered injuries to his head, and even after emergency surgery to stabilize his condition, he remains unconscious. Now that he himself is in intensive care, Dr. Wu's co-workers and patients all pray for his speedy recovery. In Taichung, Dr. Wu Zhaoyi remains unconscious in the intensive care unit, while those that know him leave him messages of hope and blessings on a message board.
He's not only a good supervisor, but in the eyes of his medical students, he's also a good teacher. He's very kind to his fellow co-workers and patients. People can't say enough good things about him. He's a good father as well as a good husband.
Dr. Wu was always ready with a smile for his patients or co-workers, and his detail-to attention made him a great doctor. After word spread of his accident, hundreds left messages of encouragement on his Facebook page. On Mother's Day, after going out to dinner with his wife, the couple decided to walk home, and when crossing the street, Dr. Wu was hit by a motorist, leaving him with severe head trauma.
Upon coming to the intersection, the motorist did not reduce his speed even though there was someone at the crosswalk. Pedestrians should be given the right of way.
Neither family members nor co-workers have given up and all pray for the day that Dr. Wu will be able to return to his post and serve the public again. In Taiwan's Hualien, following 4 corrective surgeries to treat the deformity of her knees, on May 14th, Chen Chuanzhi from Xiamen, China, underwent a 5th surgery at the Hualien Tzu Chi Hospital. Before the surgery, Honorary Superintendent Chen Yinghe put on an orthotic device to show the young girl how the orthotics will help her realign her ankles. Here's more.
Placing her left ankle on top of her right, the difference between the two is apparent. Undergoing her 5th corrective surgery, Chen Tuanzhi knows that she's in good hands.
还会紧张吗？
不会，反正看到院长我就不会那么紧张。
This assurance comes from Hualien Tzu Chi Hospital Honorary Superintendent Chen Yinghe's thoughtfulness. Superintendent Chen puts on an orthotic device to show Tuanzhi how the orthotics will help her realign her feet, and Tuanzhi looks forward to the day that she can walk normally again. Similar to her right leg, a triple arthrodesis and osteotomy surgery was performed, followed by a lengthening of the Achilles tendon. Since Tuanzhi's previous corrective surgery was a success, the risks for this surgery were minimal.
During our initial evaluation, our biggest concern was the complications that might result from poor blood circulation. But the surgery actually improved blood circulation, so there is no need for concern.
As Tuanzhi's left leg was more seriously deformed, the surgery took 3 hours, an hour longer than her previous surgery. Following the successful surgery, Tuanzhi is now able to stretch her legs.
Because she was never able to walk properly, it's expected that her legs would be of unequal length. Today's surgery adjusted that problem, and her leg length will be more permanent. I measured about a 3 to 4 centimeter difference between her left and right leg.
The difference in the length of her legs will be adjusted using an orthotic device. Although Tuanzhi won't have to undergo any more surgeries for the time being, rehabilitation, however, is the beginning of another arduous journey.
The cast must stay on for about a month and a half. Once it comes off, she can practice walking. We will see how she does, but there's still a journey ahead of us.
Although Buddha's birthday is past, honoring him and his teaching continues. At the Hualien Tzu Chi Elementary School and the Tzu Chi College of Technology in Taiwan, students and teachers gather to celebrate the Buddha's grace. Let's take a look at how the ceremony unfolded and the effect it had on participants. Under the leadership of 36 Dharma masters from Hualien Xingse Abode, a total of 2,700 teachers, students, Ida mothers, and Sichen fathers from the Tzu Chi College of Technology are paying their respects to the Buddha. The solemn ceremony has even moved students of a different faith.
We need to put our palms together in prayer, but I don't feel like it's that big of a deal. Although I am a Christian, I think the different aspects of all religions should be respected.
During the ceremony, a formation of participants spell out the number 48, representing Tzu Chi's 48th year. The United Front was also seen as everyone offered their prayers.
From beginning to end, my heart was pounding. I was on the verge of tears because I felt the overwhelming power of everyone praying for a world free from disasters. I am moved every time I participate in a Buddha Day ceremony.
Touching the fragrant water, students of Hualien Tzu Chi Elementary bowed to the Buddha's feet. Although younger, these students are no less grateful for the Buddha's grace.
We are grateful for the Buddha's grace, so on the Buddha's birthday, I would also like to thank my teachers and grandparents for taking care of me.
Singing out loud their inner wishes for the Buddha to hear, the young students make a vow to grow up right.
I need to do good deeds every day, speak good words, and think good thoughts, and do good deeds.
For the students, the Buddha Day ceremony was one infused with lessons on humanity and gratitude. We have more on Tzu Chi's Buddha Day celebrations, but in the United States, at the Manhattan Service Center in New York, Tzu Chi volunteers applied for a permit to hold a block party Buddha Day ceremony. Meanwhile, the U.S. Tzu Chi headquarters in San Dimas, California, held their ceremony at Cal Poly Pomona. 3,600 participants gather at Cal Poly Pomona for Tzu Chi's Buddha Day ceremony and pray for a world free of disasters. For this this year's ceremony, U.S. Tzu Chi volunteers played footage of Holland's Buddha Day ceremony, virtually transporting Master Zhenyan to the scene.
Today, because the Tzu Chi's 25th year anniversary, and more people will come in to celebrate and join this event with us, and that's why we try to do it in Calpali, and hopefully we have more and more audience to come in.
Before honoring the Buddha, 288 volunteers performed beautifully a section from the sign language musical, The Sutra of Innumerable Meanings. Under the leadership of Dharma masters from Japan and Southern California, the ceremony concluded successfully. Former Tzu Chi Free Clinic dental patient Juan Lugo led some 80 people in attending the celebration. They traveled for 2.5 hours by bus just to reciprocate their gratitude for Tzu Chi's assistance in the past.
We appreciate and we're very grateful and thankful for Tzu Chi.
Colin Lagerton, senior editor of Tzu Chi USA Journal, co-hosted the ceremony in English.
Slowly bow 90 degrees, place your palms over the water, then stand back up with your palms together.
Thoroughly explaining the rituals of the Buddha Day ceremony. U.S. Tzu Chi headquarters is entering its 25th year, and under everyone's companionship, the foundation looks forward to another 25 years. Also celebrating the occasion are New York Tzu Chi volunteers, who are holding a special Buddha Day ceremony. In the past, their venue was a park, but this year, the chapter applied for a permit to hold a block party right in front of Tzu Chi's Manhattan Service Center, near the crossroads of Broadway and Howard Street in the bustling Soho neighborhood, in hopes of recruiting more like-minded individuals.
We
hope that by holding the Buddha Day ceremony here, we can introduce our ideals to passers-by, whether they know much or only a little about Buddhism. They can gain a better understanding of what Tzu Chi is doing globally, and perhaps be inspired to join our ranks in the future.
Volunteers feed off the sun's energy and introduce Tzu Chi to passers-by and ask them to join in celebration. To open the ceremony, volunteers perform a section of a sutra musical.
I'm staying near the Central Park area, and I heard that there was a special event today, so I came because I wanted to see what Tzu Chi's Buddha Day is about. After experiencing it, my spirit has been moved, and I think this is an important event worth celebrating. I am really touched.
On this auspicious tri-celebration of Buddha's birthday, Global Tzu Chi Day, and Mother's Day, volunteers prepared a few hundred carnations made from towels as an eco-friendly gift for mothers.
I think my mother puts in a lot of effort for our family, so I want to thank her from the bottom of my heart. Happy Mother's Day.
Thank you.
Tzu Chi's message of love and compassion reached 600 residents and volunteers during the event, as all hope for a society in which we live in harmony with one another. Mangrove forests are known for their ability to reduce water pollution, as well as helping with coastline protection and flood prevention, so it only seemed logical to plant the tree in areas that faced such problems. Unfortunately, once outside its natural habitat, the mangroves spread too quickly, wreaking havoc on the local ecosystem and causing the very flooding that they were supposed to prevent. It goes to show that nature is not to be trifled with.
Riding a raft into the Tzu mangrove forest in Taiwan's Yilan, the dense growth of mangroves and the Taiwan fiddler crabs that live within leaves visitors feeling as if they have stepped into the Amazon. Currently, this forest is the most successful mangrove conservation habitat program on the island. However, at the Fangyuan wetlands in Zhanghua, mangroves have become a menace, as the forest has expanded to 30 hectares from its original 5, severely disrupting the local ecosystem in the process.
When the flow rate decreases, sedimentation will intensify, which is why Zhanghua's intertidal zone is being converted to dry land, and the organisms living there are disappearing.
As bottom-dwelling organisms lose their habitat to the mangroves, not only do birds have trouble feeding, human life and property are being threatened as well.
This channel helped drain excess water, but after the mangroves were planted, sedimentation began over here, which blocked the water flow.
People only began to question whether the non-native mangroves should have been planted here after flooding began to occur. Sadly, the Xiangshan wetlands of Hsinchu shares the same fate.
This here is called the Gangnan Ditch. It used to be 7 meters in width, but is now only 10 meters wide due to the buildup of mangroves. Now whenever it rains, water cannot be discharged easily, which results in flooding. So during Typhoon Nari, over 100 homes were inundated.
Here, over 7 kilometers of seashore were planted with mangroves, which not only blocked waterways but also disrupted the local ecosystem. As the endemic Taiwan fiddler crabs began to disappear, the Society of Wilderness launched a mangrove forest removal project in 2007 to restore the local ecosystem.
The habitat for Taiwan fiddler crab can be divided into 3 major areas, and they number around 20,000 in total. We shall continue our mangroves removal efforts to restore the Xiangshan wetlands.
To date, only 43 hectares of the 141 hectares forest has been cleared, and the removal costs are much higher than the original cost of planting.
To clean up a hectare costs $12,000. Now the Xiangshan wetlands is 141 hectares in area, so you can see how much it will cost us to clear the mangrove forest.
Originally, mangroves were planted in hopes of helping with shore and flood protection. However, outside of its natural habitat, the tree ended up causing more harm than good. It goes to show that flood control measures must be carefully studied before being implemented.
In Malaysia's Malacca, to mark the Buddha's holiday at Vesak, a float parade is organized by local Buddhists. During the festivities, Tzu Chi volunteers can also be seen spreading their message of environmental protection and vegetarianism to parade goers.
Every year, Buddhists around the world come together on Vesak to honor the birth of the Buddha, with countries in Southeast Asia often organizing grand events to mark the occasion. Vesak is a day to commemorate the birth, enlightenment, and passing of the Buddha, and is traditionally observed on the full moon of May. As part of the annual celebration, the city of Malacca holds a float parade every year. During the festivities, Tzu Chi volunteers take to the streets to advocate environmental awareness and the conservation of water.
Today we are here to encourage people to practice recycling, go meatless, and conserve water, as these practices are important ways to safeguard our environment.
Mankind cannot survive without drinking, and neither can plants. Without water, they cannot survive.
After listening to volunteers' explanation of the practice of vegetarianism, over 1,800 people show their support and sign up to be a part of Tzu Chi's meatless campaign.
Vegetarianism is good for our environment, reducing the harm we cause to our planet.
Raising livestock generates a massive amount of CO2 because animals need to consume a lot of water and grain, just like humans.
During Vesak, Tzu Chi volunteers honor the Buddha in their own way by taking action to safeguard our Mother Earth.
As recycling and green living concepts become more mainstream, schools in Taiwan have started to design more hands-on environmental lessons for students. In New Taipei City, Yongping Elementary School invited Tzu Chi volunteers to deliver their environmental message to the school students, while students from the Oriental Institute of Technology visited the Tzu Chi Banqiao grounds to learn how to sort recyclables.
Batteries are highly polluting. If this battery broke, it could pollute an area of up to 1 square meter.
Today, students of the Oriental Institute of Technology joined in a field trip to the Tzu Chi Banqiao grounds, where they learn how to distinguish the different categories of recyclables.
You can put this one here, the cap there, the cup and the cap.
Through hands-on practice, students and teachers gain a better understanding of the ins and outs of recycling.
It's difficult because there are so many different categories. Plastics have different types like PP and PE, so we have to be mindful when sorting them.
We want our students to not only learn about recycling from textbooks, but also from the real world. We hope they can understand the role they play in safeguarding our environment.
Processing recyclables should be the last measure. To better protect our environment, we need to start from waste reduction. This is one valuable message I learned from today's event.
Any kind of iron can be recycled, not just iron cans.
Meanwhile, at a school fair in Yongping Elementary School in New Taipei City, Tzu Chi volunteers bring their recycling message on campus.
We need to use more eco-friendly items. We should recycle PET bottles and reuse them.
Through Tzu Chi's recycling campaign, we hope our students can gain a better understanding of environmental sustainability.
Thanks to such environmental campaigns, youngsters in Taiwan have started to be more aware of the importance of environmental protection.
In Lucao Jiayi sits the home of the Lin family. The family's home was filled with mountains of trash, and the stench was so bad that the neighbors were about to lose their minds. After learning of the problem, Tzu Chi volunteers came to investigate and decided to help remove the accumulated junk for the sake of the family and their neighbors.
Mrs. Lin and her children live here in Lucao Jiayi, in a home covered in garbage. Inside the home is even worse. With no room to even turn around, Tzu Chi volunteers can only clear away the junk by dropping it from the second floor balcony. But the worst part is the foul stench that surrounds everything.
Master Zheng Yan said we should count our blessings when seeing others' plight, so by readjusting your thinking, you won't mind the stench so much. It will become more bearable.
Mrs. Lin used to scavenge for a living to support her two disabled sons. However, after succumbing to dementia 3 years ago, she began collecting anything, including kitchen waste, which drove off recyclable collectors.
Because of the foul odors, her neighbors became fed up. So we mobilized community volunteers and our brothers and sisters to help restore some normalcy to this family and improve their quality of life.
Now that the home is clean and the foul odors are gone, volunteers hope they can help mend the relationship between the Lins and their neighbors.
At the end of the show, we go to Europe and join Tzu Chi's Buddha Day celebrations in England and Italy. We will leave you with these images. Thank you for watching DaAi Headlines. Goodbye.